Back again, section 3.4. This is Professor Shannon Gracie, and we are continuing on with Blitzer's Introductory and Intermediate Algebra textbook for college students. And we are going to cover the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line today. So we'll be checking out how to find a line's slope and y-intercept from its equation, from its name, graphing lines in slope-intercept form, and then using slope and y-intercept to graph a line that's in standard form, the ax plus by is equal to c, and then use slope and y-intercept to model data. So here we go. Why don't you guys go ahead and pause the movie and do your warm-ups. On your mark, get set, go! All right, we're back again. Let's see how you did on the warm-up. So on this one, again, we'll just kind of scribble this part out. And why don't we go ahead, since we covered it last time, and graph using intercepts. So I'm going to let x equal 0. Which intercept will I find when I do that? Good, I'll find the y-intercept. So we'll have 4 times 0 minus 8 times y minus 2 equals 0. That'll give me negative 8y. And then I'm going to get that 2 to the other side and say that it equals 2, adding 2 to both sides. And then if I divide both sides by negative 8, I will get y is equal to negative 1/4. So my ordered pair is 0, negative 1/4. Then we'll let y equal 0 to find the x-intercept. So we'll get 4x minus 8 times 0 minus 2 equals 0. So that'll give us a result of 4x equals 2 after we add that 2 to both sides. And then we will get x is equal to 2/4, which reduces to 1/2. We'll get 1/2 comma 0. And then our checkpoint, I don't know, should we let x equal to whatever you want? Why don't we let x equal to 3? So then we'll get 4 times 3 minus 8 times y minus 2 equals 0. This will give us 12 minus 8y minus 2 equals 0. 12 minus 2 is 10. So we'll have 10 minus 8y is 0. Negative 8y is negative 10. Okay, so now our y will reduce to be, whoops, get the black again, will be reduced to be 5/4, and we'll get the ordered pair 3, 5/4. So my x value was 3, and from this one we had gotten that x was 1/2. And then in the third order pair, my y value is 5/4. So given that these are pretty small numbers for the y values and you know, some of the x values, I'm going to have each of these tick marks be worth 1/2. So for the axes, this will be, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. My tick marks off. And then of course we'll have negative 5, negative 4, 2, negative 1. Okay, so let's make our line. So we have an ordered pair at 0, negative 1/4, which will be over here. And then we'll have one at 1/2, comma 0, which lands here. And then we have 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then 5/4. So that's 4/4. 5/4 will be about here. And then we just, make our line through those points, and we're all set. How'd you do? I bet you did great. Points, negative 1, comma 2, and 3, comma 0. So let's see what we can find out. I think one good way to go about this one would be to actually plot those points. So let's make a picture of what we have. We'll just use the standard scale, negative 10 to 10 on both axes. So negative 1, comma 2 will be here. So that's our negative 1, comma 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 0 is here. And after today, we'll be able to, well, maybe after the next lesson, we'll be able to actually find the equation that goes with this line. All right, there we go. All right. Now here we go with our lesson. Slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. The slope-intercept form of the equation of a non-vertical line with slope m and y-intercept b is y equals m times x plus b. Okay. So here we go. We have b is the y coordinate of the y-intercept. So 0b is the intercept. M is the slope. So whatever number is being multiplied to x is our slope. Right? So let's see what we have going on. So here we are. Y equals mx plus b. So we'll do the slope in green and the y-intercept in yellow. Now notice that in the formula there's a plus sign. So if you see a minus in front of the number that you think your b is, you have to include that. So we could actually rewrite this as y equals negative 4 times x plus negative 1. Do you see that that's equivalent? Good. So in this case, do you see b is negative 1 and m is negative 4? Right? So the slope is m equals negative 4, and the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, -1. So now instead of using two ordered pairs to find the slope, we use the name of the line, the equation of the line. So go ahead and pause the movie and try the rest of these guys and see how you do. Okay. Part B. You see we need to do a little bit of maneuvering. We're not in that y equals, we have an isolated y. So if we were to subtract 6x from both sides, we would get negative y is equal to -6x minus 1. And now we need to get y to be positive. So I'll just go ahead and multiply both sides by -1. Now that negative is going to distribute to both terms, and we'll have a result of y equals 6x plus 1. So do you see that our b is 1, our m is 6, so we'll have m is 6, b equals 1, and the y-intercept is 0, 1. Let me make that more different than the b. Make that 6 more rounded. Okay, next up. And let me use these colors a little more, the M and the B. All right, so let's see how you did on the other ones. C is already in the correct format. So do you see that our M is 5/7? And then our B is 2. So what's our y-intercept? Not just 2, it's the ordered pair 0, 2. Good. All right, and last but not least, we've got this guy over here. Now this one's a wee bit tricky. It might be worthwhile to write it as y equals -1/3 times x. Do you see that if you did that, you would get -x/3? Good. So therefore that makes our slope be the -1/3. B equals 2/3. So our y-intercept is 0, 2/3. All right. Next example, we want to use the graph to find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So again, we ought to use 2 points that corner, right? So we've already done part of this problem before. I don't know if you remember, but remember how we said we went 1, 2, 3 down, and then we went 1 to the right? So 3 down and 1 to the right. So that would give us m equals -3/1, which is -3. So now we need to make the equation of the line. We have a general form, y equals m times x plus b. Now, what is our y-intercept? Remember, it's this ordered pair here. So the y-intercept is what? Good. 0, 5. And I think we had found that one before as well. So that means that over here, m is equal to, we said, -3, and b is equal to the y-coordinate of the y-intercept, which is 5. Awesome. So at the end of the day, you know, m, b, b, we just need to finish it up. Y equals -3x plus 5, and you're done. You've put a name to the picture. So you've made the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. How do you feel? Feel good? Awesome. All right, graphing by using y equals mx plus b, slope and y-intercept. Right. Plot the point containing the y-intercept. This is such an easy, useful way to graph. I mean, it's easy once you get it, you know. And you plot that, of course, on the y-axis since it's the y-intercept. This is the point 0, B. This is number 2 is where people get a little tricked. You obtain a second point using the slope m, right? Write m as a fraction and use rise over run. So if your slope was -3, like the one in the last problem, you would go 3 down from your intercept and 1 to the right. And you'd have another ordered pair. 2 ordered pairs make a line and you're done. All right? So you, again, as I said, you start at the y-intercept. Use a straight edge. To draw a line through the 2 points. And then draw arrows at the ends of the line to show that the line continues indefinitely in both directions. It doesn't just stop at those 2 points. It goes on and on forever. Unless you have an application where that wouldn't make sense. All right, so here we go. Graph using the slope and the y-intercept. So this is what we do. M is -5 and B is +3. So M is equal to, do you guys want to go down or left? Because we have to go negative in one direction. Down? Okay. So we'll write that as -5 over +1. And the y-intercept is at, good, 0, 3. So let's just do the regular scale and name our axes. We're going to first plot our y-intercept, and we got this because, you know, b is 3, and then m was the -5. All right, so we're going to start out by putting in our intercept. So 0, 1, 2, 3, that's the y-intercept. This is 0, 3. The y-intercept. Okay? Now, using our slope, we have to go down 5. So this is down 5 and right 1 from the ordered pair 0, 3. So down 5 takes us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 1 takes us here. Do you see how we got that second point? So this is the second point using the slope. And then you just connect the dots. Right? Oh, I don't like that one. Ah. There we are. That's a little better. Okay. Again, you guys should be using a straight edge since you've got just regular paper going on. Okay, how are we doing? Now notice this slope is positive or negative? Good, it's a negative slope because as we move from left to right, we're going downhill. It's a negative slope. Alright, so go ahead, pause the movie, and you guys try part B. Alright, let's see how you did on part B, and hopefully you went on to do part C as well. So on this one, in order to use slope-intercept form, we have to isolate the y. So this will give us negative 5y is equal to negative 10x plus 25. Now we have to multiply both sides by actually negative 1/5. And again, this will be distributed to both. So this will give us 1y is equal to positive 2x minus 5. And actually, just for the heck of it, let's write that as plus negative 5 so that it's right in the format we need. So this will be b. The negative 5 is the b. 2 is the slope m. So we have m is equal to 2. Well, m, if you have 2, you could either do positive 2 over positive 1, or if you wanted, you could do negative 2 over negative 1. It's up to you. And then b was equal to negative 5. So our y-intercept is, good, 0, negative 5. So we'll do just a regular scale. Okay. All right, so our intercept, remember we got that from our b. So our intercept was at 0, negative 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our slope is 2, so this 0, negative 5 was the y-intercept. Now in red we're going to get our second ordered pair using the slope. So we decided we were going to go 1, 2 up and 1 to the right. So this is the second point using the slope. And then looks something like that. And as we move from left to right, are we going uphill or downhill? Uphill. So our slope is positive. I think you're getting it. You can do it. All right, so we have several more. This one was kind of a sucker problem, wasn't it? They isolated the other variable just to trick you, the evil math people. So here, what we want to do is we need to get, we're going to, let's get x on the other side. So then we'll have 0 is equal to 2y minus 3 minus x. Now we'll have to subtract 2y. And I'm going to commute that negative x and the negative 3. So we'll get negative 2y is equal to negative x minus 3. Now multiplying by negative 1/2 on both sides. Again, distributing. We will get a result of y equals positive 1/2 times x, and then plus 3/2. So if this is x and this is y, we'll just do our regular scale. M is equal to 1/2. So m, we can say, is positive 1 over positive 2. B is equal to 3/2. So the y-intercept is at 0, 3/2. And here's how everything lines up. And again, just to clarify, this would be 1 up and 2 right from our y-intercept. Okay. So let's come back up here to the picture. So graphing our intercept, we're at 0, 3/2. So 3/2 is 1.5, so it'll be in the center there. Our slope was positive 1 up and then 2 to the right. So 1 up is here, and then 1, 2 to the right takes us here. Oh, and we were doing those in red, weren't we? So this one is the second point using slope. And the green one was the y-intercept. And we'll go ahead and connect our dots. Now, it's very important that you understand how to recognize when you see an equation, recognize that that represents a line. We're going to be getting in chapter 4, which is coming right up, we're going to be getting into systems of linear equations. And in systems of linear equations, you need to be very, very proficient in graphing lines and finding equations of lines and all that good stuff. Okay, so let's finish up these last couple examples, and then we'll have an application, and then we'll be done with this section. So here we go. We needed to multiply this one by -1. So again, that -1 will distribute on that side. And so this will give us 1y is equal to -x plus 1. So there's our B. Now, actually, do you see that we could say negative 1x if we wanted? So our m is going to be negative 1. So m is negative 1 and b is positive 1. So negative 1, do you want to go up or down? Let's go up this time just to kind of give you a different look at it. M is, if we were to go up 1, we still have to have a negative 1 when reduced. So this has to be negative 1. So this would be 1 up and 1 left from the y-intercept. And then the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 1. So we've got x and y. Put our scale in. And our intercept is 0, 1. And then our slope, we decided to go up 1, but then we have to go left 1. Okay. And so this one is our second point from slope, or using slope. And then this one is our y-intercept. And we'll make our picture of our line. Now part E. So our slope is negative 6/7 and B is 4. So let's go ahead and say, so this one we can go 6 down and 7 to the right of the y-intercept. Okay. And then our y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 4. And this is how we found the slope. Okay. So here's our x and our y. And plotting our intercept, we're at 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our second point using slope is 6 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we said 7 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this here was our second point using slope. And this guy was our y-intercept. Okay. And then we just connect everything up. Let me try that again. Right. Okay, so now down to our application. We want to write an equation in the form of y equals mx plus b of the line that is described. All right, the y-intercept is -4, and the line is parallel to the line whose equation is 2x plus y is equal to 8. So what do we have to do here? I mean, what do we know? They said that the y-intercept is -4, right? So that information tells us that b equals -4. Right? But what we need to do is use this other line. This is a totally different line. So we need to use, this is a different line. This is a different line. But we need to use information from this line in our line that we're making. So parallel lines, what's true about their slopes? They are the same. So let's find out what the heck the slope is. So do you see that if we, subtract 2x from both sides, we will get y equals -2x plus 8. So the slope for this line is -2. Right? So parallel lines have the same slope. So we are going to use what value for our slope in our line? Good. M is -2. Right? So B is 4, M is -2 from over there. So y equals -2 times x plus -4. So here's our m and here's our b. And then, of course, we can write this as -2x minus 4. That's our end result. Okay, next step. Let's see what we have. The line falls from left to right. So what would that mean? The line falls from left to right. Good, that means negative slope. It would be going downhill, right? So that information tells us we have a negative slope. It passes through the origin and a second point with opposite x and y coordinates. Well, we know the origin, right? It passes through the origin, so that point is on the line. 0, 0 is a point on the line. What information does that give us? So the y-intercept is 0, 0, which means b equals 0. So good, we've got part of it. Now we need our slope. Okay, so the next bit of information says it goes through a second point with opposite x and y coordinates. Opposite x and y coordinates. So I don't know, why don't we just use 1 and -1 are opposites, right? So let x equal 1 and y equal -1. So this is how we're dealing with the second point. Okay. So m equals, remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this one we got the ordered pair of 1, -1. And so our slope will be -1 minus 0, because the origin is one of the ordered pairs, over 1 minus 0. So this gives us a result of m is equal to -1. So now we have all the pieces. We'll get y is equal to -1 times x plus 0 from our b. So now this is our slope. So this can be simplified to y equals -x. And we're done with this section. So have a fabulous day. Don't forget to do the 3.4 homework. And we will be, and then get started on 3.5 as soon as you can.